Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ideas Exchange presented by InXpress podcast. I am your host, Paul Castleberry, and on this podcast, we try to tackle all aspects of business, being an entrepreneur, tech, marketing, accounting, whatever you can think of that fits in between all those categories and how it relates to business. We try to discuss that here on this podcast. And my guest today comes from all the way on the other side of the globe in the UK, Chloe Vant. Chloe, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. And yourself?
Yes, very well, thank you. End of a working day, had a busy day, great day, so positive mindset.
I love that. And what a great way to end the day than jumping on a podcast and just chatting, right?
Absolutely.
If
What I love
if
doing.
if the name sounds familiar to our listeners, it's because we've had a Vant on here before, and that Vant was Chloe's brother, and he came on and he talked to us about public speaking. When you hear from Chloe, you'll understand why they're so successful and in how they're thriving. But Chloe, before we get into all that, tell everybody a bit about yourself. Give us your background, just kind of the 401 on who you are.
Okay, so I'm Chloe. I'm Stuart and Terry's daughter, and they run our franchise. They run Cambridge, which is 243. We started in September 19, so we had no margin. It was a brand new franchise, and we were paid very, very little because there was nothing to bring in. So we had to get the business. We had to start bringing it in. So I just spoke to everyone and every business and said, look, this is what we do. Let us help you. We're a family franchise. We want to be there. We're passionate. We want to show you the ways that we can help, the proactive customer service element. Let us just do a trial shipment. And that's where we are 4 years later.
There you go. So, Chloe, what is your background? What's your journey as far as working career up to this point? Can you shine some light there?
Sure. So I 10 years ago, I had my son. I moved back in with my parents. I was a single mother, dare I say it. I thought I need to do something a little bit different because I don't want to be just a stay-at-home mum. There's nothing wrong with that, but it didn't fit my drive and my career opportunities and what I wanted to strive for.
Sure.
So I did accounting at night school at college 2 nights a week. My mum looked after my son and really supported me there, which was, that's the key part, having a supportive network. So I did that. I asked if I could get a volunteer position at a accountant's, unpaid, just one morning a week, and got my son a bursary at his nursery. So it gave me that opportunity to really get back into a career and into a working environment. And I actually got 2 job offers, and I was so thrilled because I got to choose. It was brilliant. And the accountancy firm I went with really supported me and supported my learning, and they actually ended up paying for my qualifications, which was incredible. But then Stuart said to me, look, come away from that, come and make some real money. And that's what I did. I was reluctant, but I said, all right, I'm trusting you in the process. And I actually had my first training with Kenny B, and Ken is an inspirational person, and I think that's when I really caught the vision. I met my husband, James. He is fantastic. He's just finished his military career, and his bomb disposal. So, worlds away from sales.
Another story for another time, maybe.
Absolutely, world away from sales. But I've had such an opportunity here, and I do believe that you reap what you sow. And I was really motivated, and we really wanted a house in Saffron Walden where we live, and we strived for that. We set ourselves a big, hairy, audacious goal, our BHAG, and we went for it, and we've just bought our first home. So that's a little bit of my story.
Yeah, congrats on that. And for the listeners, Kenny B was one of the founding members of InXpress, and a large part of our training and sales force and how we built what we do. So very vital in training up our folks and getting them to where they need to be. And Chloe, it sounds like from what I hear, it's just been kind of ingrained in you to have a thriving and successful career. And that absolutely is part of what's gotten you there. And I would probably say that the family aspect of it too, needing to take care of your son and just really being supportive there and doing what you need to do. But I'm curious as to maybe diving into When you and I were talking before we hit record here, the looking for opportunity where there others were not. Is that been a real big part of how you've become successful and thriving in your role there, or can you shed
I
light
would
on
say
that?
so. We were at a point where COVID hit, pretty much in the beginning of where our franchise sat. And we thought, well, you know what? There's sink or swim here. Some
Mm,
businesses are going to close down, some are going to sell online. So I went for food companies. Everyone needed to eat. Dog food companies, people's dogs needed to be fed, that sort of thing. People weren't able to go to supermarkets during COVID. So this is what we strived for. Um, and we got so much business during this time. It was a really volatile time for a lot of people. And our business found an opportunity where we could get things to customers who couldn't go out and who were vulnerable. And this is where we seeked an opportunity and where we grew, and for us, it was awful not seeing our family and all that jazz, but we were able to work and progress during that period. So that was one of the periods of time. And the second period of time was Brexit.
mm,
Brexit was awful for our country, but we found opportunities in it, because if you don't find opportunities, you're just going to dive. And
yeah.
we ran at the fact that Brexit was never going to be easy. So we had to find out what we needed to do to get things across the borders, how we could, help our customers and give them the education they needed to move shipments abroad. And that's what we did. We really found those opportunities and ran with it.
Yeah, I think I remember you specifically in saying that you ran headfirst into an aspect of business, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit, because I found that pretty fascinating. I think others would too.
Oh, at Christmas, do you mean that opportunity?
Yeah, I think you were saying that others were kind of running away from that because they're like, I don't, I'm unsure about that, but you're like, nah, I'm going head first.
Yeah. So at Christmas there was one of our key competitors fell over at Christmas. They could not ship, they could not collect. So I looked at different couriers that we had. Obviously, some couriers can't take on new business at Christmas. They're just dealing with their current customers. But I found an opportunity to help everyone and everybody who I knew was with that particular courier, and said, look, I can't help you with your really low value stuff, your really like cheap competitive rates, but I can give you an alternative. And people want an alternative when they've got no other option. They
Yeah.
need something to move those parcels. And I offered them what we did have and got their parcels there before Christmas. Their customers were happy. And for me, it was a chance to show them that we will go above and beyond. I remember answering emails at 11 o'clock at night, 2 days before Christmas, just trying to make sure people were receiving their Christmas brownies, and that's what InXpress is about. It's about being there and supporting these customers and these businesses, because some of them are like, you and I, just a family franchise, and they need support and help,
Yeah.
and that's what we really are about.
I, how was that intimidating? Is that scary to go after that? I mean, like I hear
Yeah,
you saying 2 days before Christmas, most people would be pulling their hair out and be like, we'll wait until after the new year. But yeah, what was that like?
there was opportunities there and they needed help, and I could see on people's Instagrams they were, we've got no one to move our business, and I was going forward to them and saying, look, we can help. It might not be the best solution for you. It might be the most cheap solution or most competitive, but we can help and we can get your parcels there. It was very intimidating. I had a lot of people hang up on me,
Hmm.
as you do in sales, but you have to keep going, because the amount of people that were grateful and said, thank you so much, you've enabled our customers to send their parcels to their granny or whoever,
Yeah.
it really does help. And I think that if you avoid those opportunities, you're going to be stuck. Whereas if you lead the way on those opportunities and go, do you know what, I'll do what my competitors aren't and I will help you at this period of time, you're going to succeed and you're going to gain some of those people and the trust from those people. And that's what it's about, is having trust and transparency. And that's what we offer.
Yeah, absolutely. What keeps you motivated to push through those hangups and those door slams and those no, go away. I don't want to hear from you. What keeps you ticking and moving forward?
Sales rep rankings.
Yeah.
I want to be at the top.
Yeah.
No, no. I think the key thing for me is we wanted the beautiful home and we have that now. now I need a holiday. So for me, it's about those sort of things. It's experiences and the memories. And we love, the sea. The sea calms us all down. And I need to get into some warm sea. So for me, it's about having those family opportunities and being able to make those memories. And money helps, money helps that, and helps you afford that. So for me, if I bring on more customers and look after them and retain them, I'm going to be able to have more opportunities with my family and more memories.
In talking with the Vant crew, I've gathered that it's really about helping the customer at the end of the day and really creating that bridge and that gap for them. Can you speak to that a little bit more? Because I feel like that's a very big driving factor in being so successful in business. And how have you and your crew tackled that?
So my parents have been from a courier background, and that's obviously why they bought the franchise and have probably been so successful in it, because they found a need in the industry, and our USP is our customer service. The customer service in the courier industry is not there. It's not
Mm,
there unless you're a reseller or, a really dedicated salesperson who wants to look after their customer. But in the courier industry, InXpress aside, you have to hang up that customer after 6 months and pass them on to a customer service side. Whereas we don't have to do that. For us, we found that in the industry, there isn't enough of that customer service. It's a
mm,
trade industry.
yeah,
And for us, we found that if you drop the ball in the customer service, you lose the trust in the customer, and you also lose the customer. So the retention's very low. And we look at our customers and we want to bring them on as friends. We want to bring our network, our people into our network and look after them, look after their customers, hopefully gain some really fantastic referrals, but also build some really fantastic relationships. So, for example, one of our suppliers has become a really, really good friend, just through their honesty and transparency and the trust in one another. And those sort of things, they're not things that money can buy. So, for us, customer service and having relationships more than anything else is the key part with our business and with us. If you don't look after them, they will just leave. And, your business will have to gain so much more. You have to fill the top so much more that it is a lot more difficult, I find. So
yeah.
looking after the customers is the easy part.
I was going to say, one of my next questions was, as you fill that funnel more, it's got to be tricky. The more customers you add, the trickier it gets to maintain that. So what's the trick there? What's your advice and key takeaway on that?
Have a fantastic customer service team,
Mm,
invest in them, trust them, give them the tools they need. I'm very lucky. So Terry, our director, my mum, she's our customer service manager, and she is incredible. She works until 7 o'clock every night to make sure that perishable parcels are there, because she doesn't want the customer upset, and she also doesn't want the food spoiled. We're real people, like real advocates for people and for food, sorry, and for ensuring that food is sustainable and making sure it doesn't spoil, because that's
yeah.
the key thing in this. When we're selling perishable products, we don't want the shipments to then spoil, and then that money's lost for the customer, and also that food's spoiled. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So as far as like, this industry, it sometimes gets a bad rap, the shipping and logistics industry, right? Because it's like, oh, great, another one. Yeah, just give me your price and move on, right? So what's the key to break through that kind of tab, or that, I don't know what you would call it, maybe that stigma around it, and how do you find yourself breaking through that and being successful?
Okay, so I don't call myself a salesy salesperson. I'm sure I am. I've been told I am, but I don't like to think that I am, because all I want to offer my customers is a better solution, and potentially a better price. Um, if I can't offer them a better solution or a better price, I will tell them. I'm not going to bring someone on. It's a headache for them and it's a headache for me, because they're going to leave me anyway. And at that point, I will say to someone, I can't offer you a better rate, but this is the service I can offer. I
Mm,
do believe our service is something that is not in the industry. I believe
mm,
that InXpress go above and beyond, and we're proactive. So it's really easy for me to sell that. It's really
yeah.
easy for me to talk to people and say, this is what we can offer. We can genuinely help you. Would you like to give us a go?
Yeah.
And the hardest part is speaking to the right person.
Mm.
My pitch is really simple. Hi, I'm calling from InXpress. Can I speak to the person that deals with your shipping? Is that you? That's it. At that
And
point,
let
they
the
say, well,
silence take over.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And And at that point, they will say yes or no, or it's Joe Blogs, or someone will say just send an email. I am more than happy to send an email, but you've got to give me some information to send. Otherwise, what am I going to send? And
Yeah.
at that point, that's when I say to someone, okay, no worries. Well, which driver picks up your parcels daily? And is it daily? And do you know what you pay? Because majority of the time they have those answers because they're either seeing the driver come in and collect or they're booking them on.
Mm.
So for me, I will then have a little bit of information and I can send an email and then I'll follow it up. So if they're not keen to speak to me at that point, I hope that if they have a need in the future, I'll be there. And I will be persistent if I feel like I have, once I've spoken to them and I feel like I can help them, because I know that we do offer something different. And I think that it's educating them about that. So when I speak to people, I say to them, we offer proactive customer service. We're not reactive, we're
Mm.
proactive. So you won't get that in the industry and you're not going to pay for it. I'm going to give you that as my standard level of service. Do you want to
Yeah.
give me a go? Do you want to trial a shipment? And most of the time they say, all right, we'll send one. Maybe it will be the Northern Ireland one, our most difficult one, or something like that. Good. Challenge us.
I love that. I love that. I was going to ask you, what's been one of the biggest challenges you faced getting to where you're at, and how'd you get past it?
Getting over call reluctance. Call reluctance is a real thing. It is so hard.
Call
You have
reluctance.
days, yeah, call reluctance. So when you are reluctant to make the calls, basically. So when
Got it.
you are at a point where you think, oh, I can't do it anymore, I'm done for the day, or you've had a bad call and you go, oh no, I'm no good at this. It's getting over that. And I have got over that by just being passionate about what we do. Some would say too passionate. I literally live and breathe it, but I love it. I love the industry, and I really love the InXpress family, because for me, it's helped me grow as a person, and that's really important. So I would say the core reluctance has been my biggest personal challenge. My biggest challenge to date generally has been getting food over into overseas and
Wow.
internationally. That has been a killer since Brexit.
Mm.
So it's making sure you had the right certification or the right documentation and all of those sort of things. So really educating myself on those things post Brexit.
Gotcha. Well, Chloe, believe it or not, we're coming up to the end of our time together. It's when I always find myself having these conversations. I'm like, man, the time's almost done. It's crazy to me, but it's been really enlightening on my end, and I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story and your knowledge with us. I kind of want to. I like to leave these as an open mic at the end to just kind of throw it to you, and any last closing thoughts or words you want to share with our audience.
Um, we we are a massive network and we have so much knowledge. And if you're struggling or you have call reluctance or anyone does in the network, reach out to your peers because we all have it and we are all able to grow from one another and be educated from one another. And I'm watching so many successful business people strive and strive again. And I want to be up there with them. So just keep striving and aiming for the top because, you'll reach your top and you'll blow it. So
Yeah.
you'll exceed it. So yeah, just keep striving.
Keep pushing forward. I love it. Chloe, thank you so much. I always end these with a random question. You mentioned you needed a holiday, your favorite holiday spot. Where would you go if you could pack and leave tomorrow?
Oh, if I could pack and leave tomorrow, I want to go to Thailand. I would love to go to Thailand. Just,
Interesting.
it's totally on my list. And I want to go to the full moon party. I've never done that. Might be a bit too old for it now, but I'd love it.
Hey, you're only old if you think you are. So live your best life. Keep doing what you're doing, Chloe. Thank you again. We really appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Ideas Exchange podcast presented by InXpress. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to show us some love and support, please share it out with others on social media or leave us a rating and review. If you want to know more about what InXpress is, visit inxpress.com to find out what they do and how they can help you in your business. That's InXpress.com. Thank you so much, and we will catch you in the next episode.